Exacto. Aquí estamos.
¿Sí?
Ya,
Está
perfecto.
grabando.
Ahora sí, sí se le anuncia a todos. Yeah, okay, so here we go, guys. Welcome to our this is the third session of the literary circles. So first, the chapter was a lot of things. We had a lot of new information, new characters, new ideas, very controversial ones. And I would like to hear your opinions, your thoughts regarding the chapter in general. Let's start with the one who actually heard the whole chapter. Francisco, what do you think of the chapter?
Me, okay. The chapter for me was very difficult for the words into the text. There were a lot of new words for me, new vocabulary, very wide, and for that reason I read twice. More the audiobook, and with the lecture for me was easier than the audio.
Yeah.
About the content, the difficulty of this chapter was that there were three different conversations in parallels.
Yay.
And for that reason, at the beginning, for me, was very difficult realize of that. But the three conversations, two are related, was related about Lenina with Henry Ford, and the two conversation, and was very interesting the sexual games about the child or younger people, and I don't know, it's difficult or was difficult for me realize how what kind of things that do reference about that. And the other, yes.
No, sorry. I thought you were over. Please continue.
And another one things was very interesting that anyone knows the past or the history of the world, and the controller tell to a student about that, our reality.
Yeah. No one knows about what happened before.
Yes.
So it's like hidden history of like society without memory. We normally talk about that and how dangerous it is to have a society without memory. So yeah, a lot of things. First of all, anybody else had trouble with the three simultaneous narration, three different situations? Anybody else who had trouble understanding that or realizing that there were three conversations ongoing together at the same time? Are you listening? Are you listening?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so did you notice, first of all, that there were three conversations are ongoing at the same time? Yes?
Yes.
No?
It's possible.
Is this a surprise? Surprise! There were three conversations ongoing at the same time. We had one with Mustafa, this new character, where there were the kids playing naked, sexual games, weird stuff. We had Henry Ford on the other hand. And we had Lenina. Lenina talking to her friend about her sexuality. What do you think of that, Christian? Were you able to get some important information regarding the conversation of Lenina and her friend?
Lenina was the girl that had a relation with uh, Bernard.
Bernard, sorry, I said Ford and I meant Bernard. Sorry. Yes, Lenina is the woman who had a relation with. She didn't have a relation because it's like, ew, who would have relationships? With Bernard. Sorry, not Henry. Oh yeah. So what do you think of her conversation? What do you think of the things she said, or why do you think she thinks that way?
Uh, I think that, for example, Bernard, uh, he want he wants to her, not for some short time, no, for
Oh
a
yeah,
long
she wants a
time.
long-term relationship, like a serious
Yes,
relationship, like we.
but mm, she was confused and not decided.
Yes. Clau, what do you think of that? What do you think of the fact that she doesn't want serious relationship? Why do you think people here in this society don't want serious relationships, like normal relationships as we do?
Because of hypnopedia, because
Huh?
they are taught to have some kind of relationship very different from how we understand it. And they repeatedly say to them when they are asleep and they are babies that everyone belongs to everyone. So they they grew up believing that. Um, for that reason, they live their sexuality in that way, like very openly and like promiscuous.
Yeah,
Uh,
we would call
they,
them promiscuous.
yeah, and they see that as natural and the viviparous, like they say, like we live. They see that like something um, dirty
Wrong.
uh, or wrong, like shameful, something bad. So that's why I think.
Yes, actually, it's like the opposite. I mean, in our society, behaviors like what they have now are most of the time um, um, people reject those behavior. We're not saying that this is the right or the correct way to behave, but most of people, most society, most of our society in this Western culture, we reject those behaviors. Vero, why do you think that in this world they do not reject this behavior? Actually, they call people or like motivate people to keep acting this way to be so sexually free. What do you think sexuality has to do with freedom and all that?
I think in this chapter show the consumption as a way of life because the sexuality or the form of life um, is the man the world state have different value of system. For the children, it's good the sexuality and grow up.
Yeah.
But I think it's different for Max and Lenina, Bernard Max.
Mm-hmm.
Lenina, Bernard manifests his discomfort with sexuality, or maybe he's manifest his feels
Yeah.
for woman. Um, um, Bernard manifests discomfort with a conversation between Henry Foss and other men.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
we start seeing that he's different.
Yeah,
Like he's
maybe,
most of them are
maybe,
equal. He's different.
yeah, maybe Lenina too, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
Yeah. We may
in the
get an
other,
idea that she wants to see him more than once at least. That's already abnormal. She wants to meet with Bernard for the second or third time. We don't know. So that's like very wrong in this society. You should only meet someone for love or sex just once.
Mhm.
So yeah, Jorge, what are your thoughts regarding this controversial topic? What do you think of kids playing naked and playing sexual games? Why do you think this society aim for kids to play this way?
Okay, hello to everyone. Um, well, like Francisco says at the beginning, this chapter in particular were more difficult for the different times of reaction, but I want to agree that the audiobook do a nice work with the atmosphere and the sounds of the different speaking.
Yeah,
Thanks to this, I I can I can understand in what context this chapter um, uh, makes sense. And your question is about the erotic games of the children
yeah,
on the tour.
yes.
Yes. Well, it's quite a little confusion for me, but so I read this book in the school. I remember, and this chapter constant reminds to us that this society, this perfect or of building society, are always repetitive. Have a lot of um, social patrones,
Patterns. Yeah,
patterns,
agility.
and this is a work of life. And I think that if the experiment wants to do with the children, boys and girls, to have a erotic games since the since her first years, it's just to manipulate him and her to for the rest of um, his lives. I don't understand the way this works, but it's a constantly in the book that that we we keep reinforcement these behaviors in the society in all the ways possible.
Yes, yes. I think that like it's one of the what you name a few things that are key here: stability, like construct and very organized, stable society. One of the main goals of the world state is stability. So if you are stable, they talk about that individual stability, society stability. It's all about having clear parameters of where you can go, what's the beginning, what's the end. So in this society, I think that one of the key things to make this society work is to take away individuality and all sense of uniqueness. Like we tend to have a strong connection between our bodies and our souls or our minds or whatever we think we are, or um, whatever is essential from us has a connection with our bodies. Like that's why we are affected when someone when someone takes advantage of you and abuse you. So in this state, they want to take away that, because this way you don't have attachments with your body and you won't have that connection with whatever's going on in your mind. So the brain is like left alone, like your opinions and ideas are left alone. So it's easier for you to adapt and integrate these different ideas where you belong to everyone and everyone belongs to you. So yeah, Christian, would you like to add any comment? What do you think, or do you think that these behaviors, because in our society we see this as bad things, right? But who knows if they're bad? We have never tried a society like this. Do you think that it would be healthy for, I mean, good for a society to develop or to become a society where there are no sexual attachments, or there is no sense of individuality, physical individuality?
And, and do you ask me about the word in the book or word?
No. I mean, do you think that a society, that one, this one, could work if we take away that sense of individuality that you have with your body, your physical uniqueness?
I think that the individuality we can is not the same that selfish. For
Yeah.
example, with individuality, we can help with entre nosotros.
Mm-hmm.
Because oneself can improve in the life and all the same, and the bad thing that we have, the other person can help you with this.
Yeah, we complement each other in a way. Okay, so this is just one issue that they introduce here. Sex will be a thing throughout the book, because in this society, like we know now, this is an important thing. It's like they also talk about having a mandatory partner, that when you become 21 you have to have sexual, how do they call them, it's like you have to get pregnant from a male. It's not mandatory until you're 21. After 21 you have to get pregnant from a man. So they take away all sense of liberty and choosing, like I don't want to have a baby, you have to have a baby when you're 21, or you have to have sex. It's funny because Lenina's friends ask her, who are you going out with tonight? Not, are you going out tonight with someone, maybe? No, who are you going out with? So you have to go out with someone. So yeah, sex is going to be a thing throughout the book. So get ready, prepare your vocabularies regarding this. We have a psychologist here, so someone who can help us understand how all this will affect the society. But let's move on to another aspect that I think is it's gonna be important. Actually, it's this drug, Soma. Francisco. Oh no, sorry. So someone wanted to comment? No, I thought I heard someone trying to speak. Okay, Francisco, can you go ahead and tell us, what do you think about Soma? Oh, maybe he's not listening. Oh, there he is.
Oh, yes.
He was
Sorry.
thinking.
Soma. Soma was the perfect drugs
Yeah.
that help to people feeling better, and depend on the doses or the quantity of these drugs. This one has different effects over the people.
Yeah.
And that is change the reality is like the drugs of today, of our realities. Currently, these drugs change the reality of all of people, including the alcohol. The alcohol,
Of course.
and it's very similar, but depending on the doses, I don't know how we say that
Those.
word in
Those.
dose. Uh, has different effects over the people than similar to nowadays.
Yay. Anybody here who would like to try some soma? Maybe just once? I go with it. Yeah.
I'll go.
No fears, like maybe just once. Okay, I'm not saying that it's gonna be constant, but it would be awesome to feel like awesome. So yeah, in order, probably, maybe, or I don't know what you guys think. What do you think this drug has to do with the thing that we were talking before, sexuality? Do you think that maybe they're trying to hide bad effects or like negative effects from counter effects from like this freedom and this absolute sense of like looseness? Vero?
Uh,
Oh, Christian? No, Christian, you were trying. You go.
I think that all in excess is bad,
Yeah.
including the liberty.
Yeah, a little bit polemic. Okay, we could start a big discussion here, but we won't. Because we don't have time, otherwise we would definitely. So maybe keep that idea for another session. We will go deeper into that because the book is about freedom. If it's dangerous, is it good? Vero, what do you think of Soma?
I think the Soma is the best drug because I can understand in this part the chapter mention Soma didn't have a hangover
Yeah.
in the people.
Yes.
It's good because I like drink wine, but other days I feel bad.
Yes.
In this
It only gets
place,
worse. It only gets worse.
yeah, in this state, the people never feel bad. I feel they feel happy and have sexuality all the time. Awesome. I'm not sure, but people never old. Can I say envejecer?
Get old?
Yeah.
Everything
Phys-
has get.
But I understand never older psychology, but physical, I don't know.
Yeah, I also noticed that we don't see old people, like we only see young people. Probably it has to do with this genetic experiments they do with humans.
Alteration.
Uh-uh.
Alteration.
Alteration, thank you. Thank you, you were here. I know. But yeah, this genetic alteration, probably we don't get old that easily, or it takes, maybe life is short. Maybe you die at 30 because when you are older, you don't produce. Remember, it's all about production. So,
the book talks about it like later.
yeah, I
Little
think
bit
I think they talk about that later. That when you're old, like, why would you be old? Like, and actually, the scary thing is that these topics are getting more and more familiar to us. Like, we could discuss the same issues here in our society nowadays. So that's a little bit scary because like you hear that most of the time they're talking about like useless adults, like older people, that they only need money, the low pensions. So maybe this is like his proposal solution. Like, okay, we have problems with AFP, so we're gonna kill all people. So nobody needs AFP. Oh, awesome. So yeah, we don't know, but yeah, that's an important thing that's coming up. So
Alicia?
yes.
I'm a little bit confused because I didn't really read the chapter. I just heard the, I just,
Yeah.
I read I heard the
like
small summary
let
of like
everybody
2
know
minutes.
this.
But so they were talking basically like pleasure triggers, right? Like the drugs and
Yes.
the sexual triggers. So, but I remember we were talking earlier about the different castes, the castas.
Yeah.
So like this soma and these sexual experiments are meant for all the castes or just for like a certain groups? Because I don't see the point of like having like the epsilons having like drugs,
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they mentioned that in this chapter.
Anybody who would like to answer that apart from me? No. Yeah. They don't talk about that, but they don't comment that epsilons don't use soma. Not in this chapter. I don't remember if it's going to happen next, but I think it makes sense, or somehow they infer that this is like a privilege, and like because these people live a stressful lives. Epsilons and gammas, they don't live a stressful lives because they don't care. They just work as machines. But these people think or study or learn, so they need to get distracted. I think that probably it's going to be alpha beta thing only, not epsilons. I don't see why would they need that because they don't even question things. So yeah. Jorge, would you like to comment on Soma?
Or I just have a think. Maybe the alphas and betas have access to best soma, and the common people like epsilon of us do a soma, a kicked soma.
Pasta base Soma. Yeah, it's
A
like
pasta
that.
base soma. Yeah. You read my mind.
Yeah.
Soma fruna.
But
Yeah, Soma Fruna. Soma Cuenta and Soma Taliani. So, yeah.
yes, but in terms of alienation, that I think that is one of the principal topics of in the entire book. Um, the introduction of this drug and this chapter um, gonna serve to us to maybe understand the complete social dynamic of all kind of castes, workers and
Oh, yeah.
thinkers.
Yeah, maybe Soma is what makes this society works. Actually, I think that's where things going. I'm starting to remember the book. Information is coming back. Yeah, so maybe it's gonna be crucial for the whole story. But that could be a spoiler. We don't know. We have to stop here up until what we know. Okay, so we talked about sexuality. We talked about Soma, that they're like interconnected. We also talk about sexuality in kids. Clau, do you first, two questions. First one, do you think that these sexual behaviors in little children, as we see, I mean, I kind of know this answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you know that they'll be damaging for child to have this, for a child to have this type of education or exposition?
I think when I read that, I thought that maybe what the reader, maybe what the writer was thinking was something completely opposite of what they were living, what he was living at his time.
Yes.
I imagine at that time there was complete sexually restriction, you know.
Yeah, it's the
So
30.
imagine in the future it would be the completely opposite. I personally believe that any any way of living it, like total freedom. Sorry, I'm not gonna. I like. Sorry.
You can zoom, rewind, start again.
Wait.
Clau, what do you think of
No. I was thinking about what Christian said before. He said that any extreme is bad.
Yeah.
Like total restriction was bad and is bad for children. But if they, like in the book, they are like fomented and like obligated to have these games, it's also going to be prejudicial.
Prejudicial, yes.
Prejudicial?
Uh,
Yeah.
actually, we see one little boy that he's in.
Yeah.
You see that he's uncomfortable. He's like crying. I don't remember exactly, but he's in a corner, and they take him to the psychologist. Like, they take him to the office or the advisor. Like, what's wrong with you? You don't want to play sexual games. What's wrong with you? So it's the complete opposite. It's like an alternative reality where everything is upside down, and
Yeah.
that's the society in these matters. Okay, so before we move to next topic, anyone would like to comment regarding sex or soma, like the first stage of the book? No, the chapter? No.
I just have one question. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just asking because I don't know what you're talking about. So I had this. I don't remember when they were like making them in the lab. They were fertile, like
Only
they were sexually
a group
fertile.
of people, only a group. Some were made fear Martin, something like that, which is that means that you cannot have babies. Like
Okay.
some part of the society was, I think that it was gammas and epsilons actually that couldn't have babies.
Gamma
But
okay, okay,
some
so
of
the lower
them
ones.
got pregnant, but I don't think that would be like
Just because you
pregnant.
mentioned something like they were meant to have a mate, like when they
Yeah,
were
but
21,
I don't think
and
that
they were
if the baby was inside. Like I'm not sure about that. I think that they grew babies in labs, but you had to have a baby or something like that in the Bukanowski process. But I don't remember. Anyone remembers if they comment on fertility or not?
I am confused in this chapter because I thought that relationship between castes it's not possible. But I think Lenina and friends maybe are beta
Yes.
or not.
Alphas and betas can go out. Yeah. So Lenina is a beta and Bernard is an alpha. But he's a weird alpha. He's not a common alpha. He's shorter. He's different.
She mentioned take a pills, anticonceptive.
Probably.
In
That's why I think that probably they're fertile, but I don't think that they can have the pregnancy because it wouldn't make sense. Like it's important for women to understand that nothing is theirs. So why would you have a pregnant woman feeling a baby inside when it's not going to be hers? It's going to be society's. So probably they're like lab babies. Yes.
No, Lenina, other woman. I don't remember her name.
I don't remember the friend either.
Funny.
Fanny?
Funny.
Fanny, yes, Fanny.
Fanny, yeah. Fanny, take a pill for hormonal treatment.
I don't
know.
I don't remember.
I
don't remember where that leads because by now we don't know much about that. So maybe she's going through some kind of treatment, a special treatment.
Yeah.
Pregnancy.
Lenina asked why. She responded, I can understand that she take a pill because she's woman como Afro-American, maybe, no? Porque because take before pills, tratamiento hormonal, no?
Remember.
Maybe I.
Gotta be
I'm not
honest,
sure.
don't remember that part. Anyone remembers that or know what Vero is referring to?
No. I
I
am crazy,
remember.
maybe.
No. Fanny told to Lenina about this pill, but it's a hormonal regularization pill, and the components are very very fun because his names are about the placenta and the uterus.
Yeah, so,
Como
yeah, sorry.
that are the components of the pill, and the conversation between Fanny and Lenina when this topic comes around is of his respective ages to maybe copulate or get pregnant.
Yes, that's when they
And
talk
Lenina,
about mandatory pregnancy.
Fanny, yes, and Fanny says to Lenina that no. Lenina says to Fanny that she is 2 years 2 years
Older.
older or still in the plazo
Yeah.
to get pregnant, and then Fanny comment this pill
Yeah.
to Lenina.
So yeah, I think it has to do. She's getting ready to have the mandatory sexual partner that you need to have a baby with, or that interconnect your genes at least. Maybe not a baby, regular baby, but a Bukanowski processed baby. Babies, 96
But
babies actually.
but Alicia, maybe until this mandatory time to get pregnant, and sorry if this sounds a little bit sexism, but the times are established by the state. Okay, we have that point, and all the women have to get pregnant in one time and reproduce a very specific moment.
Yeah.
And Fanny, the friend of Lenina, told about this pill, and maybe this pill is like or your pill
Like
of
contraceptive.
hormonal. Yes, that.
Yeah,
Because
probably there because we know that we probably Vero and Clau, we know that your body needs a lot of like preparation to have a baby. Like you need to, or we know that friends or our family members like they take ácido fólico or whatever, and this other. So you prepare your body for this like amazing job that is to create life and all that. So you prepare for that. So maybe she's preparing and taking ácido fólico or whatever hormones for her body to be ready for pregnancy. But I'm not sure. I don't remember. I don't know if they get pregnant or not, or if it's just a Bukanowski baby. We don't know that yet. So maybe we should keep it there and wait for the text to take us there. I mean, the audiobook, the book to take us whatever this leads. But yeah, they're just introducing these ideas. So before we finish, I just wanted to for us to comment on other thing that I find very interesting in this chapter, which is fourth Freud. I don't know if you noticed fourth Freud and the hidden secret forbidden books, the Bible, Mustafa, Ford. What do you think of this? Any volunteer who would like to start commenting on these issues? No volunteers, no worries. So let's go with we haven't heard from Francisco in a while. Francisco, what do you think? What do you think of hidden Bible? To be specific.
Because all of them, the high couple, change the reality about all of people that they are parenting, and well, four is like a semi-god for all of them, for afraid. And I think that she hide the Bible and another text for hide the history, the all the past of about the. You hear me yet or
Yes,
not?
yes, yeah.
Ah,
Don't worry.
sorry, that my
We have to
connection
remember
is
people
a
know,
little.
not so he knows that we're listening and then we agree. Yes.
Very yeah. Okay.
Like one of those dogs.
Okay. I forget what I said.
You were saying
Uh,
that they were trying to erase God and hide
yes,
previous
yes,
history.
and they hide the Bible because explain the origin of the world maybe, and some special book for that reason, and for manipulate to old people, and that they know they don't know it this or his past, their
Yay.
past. Sorry.
They're past actually. But yeah, Christian, what do you think of these hidden books? Were you expecting something like this, or was it a surprise for you to know that books, history books, and all those ugly topics are hidden?
And do you refer about the eras, the history?
Yeah, like they comment that there are no books, and that some books are hidden in the office of this guy Mustafa.
Mm. It's a way to uh, change their mind, uh, uh, of the people for can control it more easily.
Yay. If you start from zero, ground zero, tabula rasa, you can go ahead and put any idea in a person's mind. There are many experiments regarding this issue, like the electroshock experiments that later led to the theory of shock, which could be the reason why the world is the way it is, and how they like take away everything you understand or how you see the world, and they show you a new way to see the world, and that would change the way you behave and the way you act and what you think. So yeah, definitely it has to do with implementing this new forward, these new concepts, like leave behind whatever was agreed before.
For create a narrative, say culture for and they have a more attractive.
Yeah, yeah. The world state needed to be the only way, the only possible way. Is the world state or nothing or chaos? Because like every time they talk about the times before Ford, things were horrible back then. Like, oh God, everything was wrong. Everything before Ford was horrible, and after
And
Ford, everything was great. But no one knows, or they only heard ideas that they selected for them to know regarding what happened before. They only know a few things about the past, and the things they know are most of the time, or probably, incorrect or altered, changed in order to make them look better. So, Clau, what do you think of for Freud? Why for Freud?
Like Christian says, it's a huge way of manipulating the population. And when I read that, I couldn't stop thinking about our society, like the Chilean society, because many times the government has tried to erase our memory. For example, about the
I wanna guess. Maybe you're going to talk about something I wouldn't say.
I don't know how to say it.
Dictatorship.
Dictatorship.
How-
Dictatorship. He's talking
sorry.
about the strike or
dictatorship.
the dictatorship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And erasing history or giving history less hours at school, it's a way of deleting memory. There are places there that were like places where people were assassinated and tortured, and they erased that information so no one knows, and that is a huge way of manipulating people. So it's not something that just happened in the book like fantasy, something that happens today, like in our society.
We are experimenting that. It's funny.
Yeah.
Like Christian, Francisco, Jose, and Jorge don't know Quilpue, but Vero and Claudia are from Quilpue, and I lived there for a long time too. And it's funny because you go, and it's not funny. It's really sad that the mall, the city's mall, big mall, huge mall, used to be a concentration camp.
Yes,
And that was like 30
I
years ago,
thought the
or
same
40
thing.
years ago. But
Yeah.
people go there for, like, I don't know, buy clothing. You go with your family. You see parents and kids, and but it's not it's for me. It's not a thing. It's not a problem that they can have fun. It's not necessary like for everyone to cry, but at least to know and to
remember.
understand the change, the difference that that people experience, how lucky we are that we're not living that anymore. Nothing. Nobody knows this.
For
So yeah.
example, Alicia, sorry.
Yeah, sorry,
For
of course.
example, in another countries like Germany, they show the places, they show the history, they repeat it, they teach it, because they don't want that to repeat.
And
So
not only because of that,
people
because
have
we
to
need to
know.
understand. We need to
Yeah.
analyze this,
Yeah.
whether we wanted to repeat the history, because we tend to repeat history over and over again as society. But even if it's not to repeat, at least to meditate on what happened and what we learned from that process and what things we want to change, what things we want to keep. So yeah, memory. They're trying to take away this because this way they allow you to avoid judgment. You don't judge things, you just accept because this is the only way you know. Vero, I would like to hear your opinions on this subject.
I think that Mustafa mentioned that relationship and love or other word, motherhood, maybe.
Yeah.
Marriage for institution of marriage causing instability social. For this reason, in the state didn't know allow this form of life. It's considered abnormal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the other the other topic? We lost Clau. Okay. What do you think of the people, the society without a memory? That everything before Ford is erased, forgotten. There is nothing happened, or only bad things happened before Ford. What do you think of how that can be seen in our society?
Yeah, it's I don't know say this, but I think the people why didn't know that past. I they didn't not miss the past.
Yeah.
Because if they never know in the actuality, they feel good. But I think it's the bad form in this society. Ocultar, no sé cómo se dice.
Heights.
Hide the past. But I think the state supply this form proportion the people stability.
Yeah. This way you don't make different ideas. If we all think the same, why would we fight over that? Stability. Everyone would agree. So finally, before we finish, some quick comments on this topic on history teacher, Jorge. You wouldn't
No,
have a
so
job in this
sorry.
world. You couldn't live in this world state as a history teacher because there is no history. Maybe you could read some hypnopedia. What do you think of a society without memory?
Well, first, so sorry that Claudia left us
Yes.
before time because I really want to thank her for his comment. I'm agree in 100% because she mentioned a thing that is crucial for me. That is the don't the worst mistake for a society for his improvement are forgot her past history because in the constant cycle of I don't know repetitive actions that the human do around the history like wars or religion or the discovery. The important things in history and science are that made us that that constructions of ideas around the centuries are the most solid matters to build a society. And okay, we have a lot of mistakes. It's just to get a quick review of the 20th century of the past century,
Full of
and we
mistakes.
see it full of mistakes, full of blood, derramamiento. Okay, you got my point.
Yes.
And the example that she mentioned of Germany, that is the best example, I think, because we can see how Germany, how serious state are the Germans, and how um, can understand her past, and like you said, analyze her mistakes to build a better country for the next generations.
And there is Claudia. You can tell her now. We were
Oh, Claudia,
commenting on you.
yes, I am totally agree with your comment. Really like.
Really like. Short summary. Really like. Okay. Guys.
Ultra like.
Super like. Yeah. Guys, this chapter in particular, I found it very interesting. Like we had a lot of things to discuss. We could definitely stay here for at least 1 hour more if we could go deeper into all the ideas that are prompts from this chapter. So, but we can't because time's up. So guys, chapter 4 next Friday. Let's see how weird these things get, or like what's the next thing they're gonna show us. I think this is getting surpriser and more surprises. So let's see what happens in chapter 4. And thanks for coming as usual. It's been a pleasure, and see you next Friday. Yeah, I just wanted to. Can you smile for the camera so I can take the screenshot? Yeah, smile, everybody. Here we go. Oh no. Oh, that's todo. Todavía no. Ahora sí. We're done. Bye, guys. Take care. Good to see you. Have a nice
Bye-bye.
I
Bye bye.
Bye, weekend.
Ciao.